Imagine receiving $500,000 completely tax-free. No strings attached, no work required, just a bank deposit that changes your life overnight. Inheritance feels like a blessing, a gift from beyond, but it is the most dangerous money you will ever touch. Not because of bad investments or taxes, but because of the people who love you.
Meet Chris. He just lost his grandmother. The woman who raised him while his mother worked double shifts. She left him everything: her house, her savings, her life insurance, $500,000. Chris was devastated and grateful. He cried at the funeral, hugged his family, and promised to honor her memory with every dollar. Then the money hit his bank account and everything changed. Chris called his best friend to share the news. His friend said, "You are set for life. Man, invest it, enjoy it, you earned this." Chris felt like he finally caught a break after years of financial struggle and wanted to share his good fortune with everyone he loved. Chris texted his sister Maya. He said, "Grandma left me everything, but I want to share it with the family I am giving you. $50,000. Maya did not say thank you. She said, "Grandma always told me she would help with my kids' education. That is my money. Where's the rest of it?" Chris felt his stomach drop. He said, "It is not your money, Maya." She insisted. "Grandma promised me and demanded to see the full inheritance statement." He hung up shaking and confused. This was the same sister who barely visited Grandma in the nursing home, but now she claimed ownership of everything. Chris called his brother Tom to vent about Maya. Tom was quiet on the phone. He said, "I am happy for you, Chris," but something in his voice was deeply wrong. Then Tom stopped returning his calls. 3 weeks of silence, no explanation, no text, nothing at all. Then Tom sent a text, "I need $30,000 for my business." Chris wanted to help, but he also wanted to know why Tom ignored him. For 3 weeks, Tom never answered that question. He just said, "You have $500,000. You can spare $30,000. Like Chris owed him something for being born into the same family. Chris sent the money not because he wanted to, but because he felt guilty for having more than his brother. Then his mother called. She said, "Chris, I need to talk to you about Maya. She is struggling. She has 2 kids and cannot pay her rent. Can you help her more?" He said, "I already gave her $50,000. His mother said, "That is not enough for a single mother. You have so much now. Do not be selfish." Selfish. The word hit him like a punch to the chest. He gave $50,000 to his sister, $30,000 to his brother, and his mother just called him selfish for keeping what little remained. Chris sat alone in his apartment doing the math. He started with $500,000 and had already given away $80,000. He still had $420,000, but somehow he felt poor because everyone around him acted like he was hoarding their money, not protecting his grandmother's lifelong savings. Christmas dinner that year was the worst night of his life. Maya barely looked at him. Tom sat in silence, scrolling his phone. His mother kept asking about the inheritance in front of everyone. His father-in-law asked how much he got, and his cousin asked for a loan before dessert was even served. Chris sat at the head of the table with $420,000 in the bank, and he had never felt more alone, surrounded by family, who saw him as an ATM, not a son or brother, who was still grieving his grandmother's death while they fought over her money. After dinner, Maya confronted him in the kitchen. She said, "Grandma would be ashamed of you. Chris said I gave you $50,000. She said, you kept $450,000. That is not sharing. That is charity." Chris realized the ugly truth: no amount of money would ever be enough for his family. The problem was not the amount. The problem was that he had something they wanted, and they would never forgive him for having it. Chris stopped answering calls. He stopped going to family events. His mother left voicemails saying, "I miss you," but they felt like guilt trips designed to manipulate him. Maya sent angry texts demanding more money. Tom just stayed silent, which hurt worse than the demands. Chris was sitting on $400,000. And he had lost his entire family. The money his grandmother left to protect him had become the weapon his family used to destroy everything he loved. But Chris is not alone. 70% of families experience serious conflict after an inheritance. The average dispute lasts 2 years, and 1 in 3 families never recovers from the damage. Money did not create these cracks. It just revealed what was already there, hidden beneath holiday dinners and polite conversation. Here is what Chris should have done differently. Starting with the very first rule of sudden wealth, he should have told no one for 6 months. Not his best friend, not his siblings, not even his mother. Silence is uncomfortable, but it protects relationships better than any amount of sharing ever could. Money changes how people see you, and you cannot unring that bell once your family knows you have money. You become a different person in their eyes, not their son or brother, but a resource to be accessed. The kindest thing you can do for your relationships is keep your inheritance completely private. Second, he should have hired a financial advisor before saying a single word to his family, a neutral third party, who had seen this pattern before and could guide him without emotional pressure, someone who would tell him put the money in trusts. Not in gifts, because trusts protect both you and the people you love. Third, he should have set a clear, fixed amount for gifts and never negotiated beyond it. This is what Grandma left for everyone. This is the amount, no discussion, no guilt, no second requests. The people who love you will respect your boundaries, and the people who do not will show themselves immediately. Fourth, he should have accepted that some relationships would break no matter what he did not. Every family fracture can be prevented, and giving away everything you have does not fix a broken relationship. It just makes you broke and still alone with nothing to show for your grandmother's lifetime of sacrifice. If you might inherit money someday, have the conversation now, not when the money arrives and emotions are high, but now tell your family what you would do with an inheritance and watch how they react. Their reaction will tell you everything you need to know about their true intentions and expectations. Does your family get quiet and thoughtful, or do their eyes light up with dollar signs? Do they say it is your money? Do what you want, or do they start listing what they need? Watch for the difference between genuine support and subtle entitlement, because that difference will save your future. If this story felt familiar, comment. The moment that hit you hardest, was it Maya demanding her share? Was it the Christmas dinner scene? Or was it the realization that Chris lost his entire family while keeping almost all the money? The inheritance did not destroy his family. It just exposed what was already broken. Subscribe and hit the bell, because our next video reveals the real psychology behind why money destroys families and how to protect yourself from the people closest to you when sudden wealth arrives. We will break down the entitlement mindset and show you exactly how to set boundaries that actually work. Share this video with someone who might inherit money one day. They need to see this before the money arrives, because inheritance should bring peace, not destroy everything it touches. Your grandmother saved her whole life to give you a better future. Do not let her gift become the thing that takes your family away. One last thing, if you are currently dealing with an inheritance dispute right now, stop giving money immediately and hire a mediator before you give another dollar. The pattern only gets worse the more you give, because entitled people do not feel grateful. They just feel entitled to more and more until nothing is left. The saddest part of this story is that Grandma would have hated what happened. She saved for decades to give Chris a better life. But money without a plan destroys more than it builds. Have a plan, have boundaries, and have the courage to say no, even when family calls you selfish for protecting yourself. Protect your inheritance by protecting your silence. First, tell no one, then hire a professional, then set fixed limits, and finally accept that some relationships will break along the way. Follow these 4 rules, and you will keep both your money and the relationships that actually matter in your life. Because the truth is, inheritance reveals character. It does not change it. The people who love you will still love you, whether you have $500,000 or $500, and the people who only see dollar signs were never really your family to begin with. That is the real lesson of Chris' story.